Well, can you have faith without being faithful? No. When we use that phrase, well, I'm created in the image of God, but we usually just talk about, oh, I'm valuable. God loves me. And no, he's got a job for you. He wants you to reflect his image. And Israel was supposed to reflect their nation as God's chosen nation to other nations. Well, that's not going to happen when you read like the first 3 verses of Hosea 13. It says, when Ephraim spoke, people trembled. He was exalted in Israel. Everything sounds great. But he became guilty of Baal worship.
Uh-oh.
And so he died. Mm-hmm. Now they sin more and more. They make idols for themselves from their silver, cleverly fashioned images. These are the images they're into. It's earthly things. That's why I read all that 1 Corinthians 15. That's why Paul masterfully threw that in there, because this chapter, as it goes on, it gets rough to read. I mean, they're sacrificing their children. The next verse says, it is said of these people, they offer human sacrifices. They kiss calf idols. I mean, they're doing just stuff that's, that we make horror shows and say, oh, that's not real. Nobody would actually do that kind of stuff. These are God's chosen people.
Yeah.
They're not representing him. And so God's angry.
But it's a good point, because they have to do something. And that's the thing that is, I think we've been up against in the modern church, is that we're so afraid to enter into a legalistic works-based system that we want to separate doing stuff from salvation. But you can't separate the vocation of what you're called to.
Oh, Zach, you could not be any more right. Look, half the New Testament is talking about God prepared work in advance for us to do.
Ephesians 2.
And I'll go as far as to say this: like, it's a false gospel. Anyone that tries to separate, this is James's point, like, you can't separate works from grace. And so to try to just, like, we're not going to talk about works or what we got to do, that's not the full gospel. It's not the gospel. I'm just telling you, it's not the gospel. And you say, well, hold on, I don't have to do anything to be saved. You're missing the point. It's not that I don't have to do anything to be saved. It's that I have to be saved so that I can do stuff. You have to flip it. I mean, that's the point.
Zach, I'll drop another bombshell on you, because I went down a rabbit hole just looking up the meaning of the word faith, translated faith. And in every case, it'll say in your Greek lexicon, faith/faithful.
Yeah.
Faith or /faithfulness. And it hit me, and I just Googled this to AI. I want to see what they said. And I was like, well, can you have faith without being faithful? No.
Even AI agrees.
Even AI said, nope, that's not possible. But we have like faith as just some little vehicle that you have to go through to be saved, And when it changes, it should change if you just put that in the back of your mind. What I just said, you will never unsee. Because all the passages that are in conflict in the denominational world under the umbrella of Christianity, if you would just keep that in mind, faith and faithfulness, it goes hand to hand. There's a lot of these disputable passages that I think you're like, oh, okay. There's sometimes it's talking about being faithful. Because my whole point is, if you read the Old Testament, Israel's unfaithfulness is all over the place. Which is why God divorced them, because they were unfaithful. It's like if your wife is unfaithful, guess what? We got problems. This is Hosea 13. Now, later on in the chapter, it talks about that, the sting of death, and it's translated plague of death in here. But I just want to read this because your point about idolatry and about sin missing the mark could not be true. The problem was they're worshiping other gods, and they were unfaithful to God, and it led to all sorts of sin and justification by the law, however they wanted to do it. But it's just a mess, is what it is.
Well, it was taking their whole kingdom, the whole country, the whole culture off the rails, because they began following these false gods.
I think that's what people miss is they had a job to do. God creates people with a job, work.
Right.
to do. That's why Jesus at the end, when I went on that last rant in the last podcast about Jesus, he at this point of the story, he's not giving them theology, and he's had all these arguments, and they listened, and he told the parables, but he went with a meal, he washed their feet, he said a prayer, he's given himself, it's a demonstration of love, and then what does he do? He gives them a job.
Yeah.
You're like, I mean, I think half the chosen 12, it doesn't even say what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they were unemployed. But just think of who he had. He had a fisherman,
Tax
collector.
Zealot.
It's just like, and they've left their jobs. The other half doesn't mention. Yeah, the zealot was the equivalent of a terrorist.
Yeah,
when
correct.
he's going around. This is your crew. And then he gives them a job. As the Father sent me, I'm sending you. I mean, it's so basic. You're like, well, why?
And you remember his first accusation? They're like, tell us what you've been doing. And he said, why are you asking me that? I've been talking in public. What I've been doing the whole. I mean, he was like, it's very simple. It's out there.
Yeah.
People know.
But to Zach's points, what I'm trying to say, God, when he created us, when we use that phrase, well, I'm created in the image of God, but we usually just talk about, oh, I'm valuable. You know, God loves me. And no, he's got a job for you. He wants you to reflect his image. And Israel was supposed to reflect their nation as God's chosen nation to other nations.